Good afternoon, health seekers. Richard Smith here, the Keto Pro. Today, I'd like to speak to you about what we can eat living a ketogenic lifestyle. There seems to be an awful lot of confusion, and what I've noticed is a lot of animosity within the Facebook groups and social media network recently, where someone new to the lifestyle will post a picture of their meal, and they will receive criticism for an item being on their plate which is deemed not to be ketogenic, when in fact it probably is, because it's not the food we eat that allows us to be ketogenic. So I want to run through a few bits and explain what we can and cannot eat living a ketogenic lifestyle. So can I eat, fill the space, on keto? So first of all, we need to understand what keto is. Now, keto is a metabolic state. It's our natural metabolic state. It's the metabolic state we're born in. It's the metabolic state that we've evolved in our entire existence. It's reducing carbohydrates that allow us to become ketogenic. Carbohydrates break down into glucose, which is sugar. All carbs break down into sugar, and that's an important point to remember moving forward. All carbs, regardless of the source, is sugar. And it's this conversion into glucose, an effect on insulin that allows us to become ketogenic. So we need a low state of insulin and elevated glucagon. So to achieve a ketogenic state, we need to remove the foods that are high in carbohydrates. So we reduce carbohydrates. But this is my take on the 4 variations of the keto lifestyle. We've got dirty keto, standard keto, clean keto, and carnivore. And carnivore is an entirely different subsection that opens up into different avenues of being carnivore. And again, that's probably a talk for another day, but we're all on our own journey. It's up to you to decide where on this path that you want to begin and where you want to reside within your journey. So let's look at dirty keto. Now, dirty keto simply means if it fits your macros. Now, typically we need less than 20 grams of carbohydrate per day. This does vary from person to person, but it's typically regarded as 20 grams. And within my experience, that seems to be quite accurate. One of the benefits of being ketogenic through the dirty keto lifestyle is it's less restrictive. Now, this means that technically we could add a piece of toast to our breakfast, our beautiful fried eggs with salmon, because that piece of bread contains 15 grams of carbohydrate. So if we were to consume no more carbohydrates throughout the day, this would allow us to maintain a ketogenic state. Now, this means as long as our total carb intake is low enough to sustain a ketogenic state, we can eat almost what we want. Now, I don't want to promote this. This isn't the idea of going down the keto route. But a lot of people will begin here, and it's perfectly fine to begin your journey here. But I just want you to understand what you can and cannot consume. So when somebody will say to you, well, that's not ketogenic, then you can simply reply and say, well, look, I'm living a dirty keto lifestyle at the moment. I understand about the benefits of going deeper down this rabbit hole or deeper down this path, but I'm happy to reside in this space of being dirty ketogenic for now. So to maintain less than 20 grams of carbohydrate per day, we need to understand how to read a label. Now, typically, if you need to read a label, it isn't food. Food is meat and veg. And you can find this out on Google. You only need to Google any vegetable to find out how much carbohydrate is in there. But this is a label from a pack of cauliflower, for example. So we take a look at the carbohydrate. Now, typically, it contains 3.4 grams per 100 grams of carbohydrate. And this packet is 900 grams in weight. So we multiply the 3.4 by 9, which will give us 30.6. There's 30.6 grams of carbohydrate in this pack of cauliflower, which would mean half a pack would be around 15 grams. Quarter, obviously 7.5. So we can gauge that roughly. We don't need to weigh our food. We can gauge it just by looking at that label with a rough figure, just to allow us to maintain a dirty keto lifestyle. Now, the benefits to living a dirty keto lifestyle is we will see an improvement in insulin resistance. We'll see a reduction in inflammation. We'll see an improvement in blood pressure, and we'll reduce body fat. Now, if this is all you ever do as far as your keto journey goes, you're going to see massive benefits. Now, these benefits are going to put you in good stead and allow you to live a much healthier lifestyle than living a high carbohydrate lifestyle. So if this is where you want to live, this is fine. But let's go deeper down this rabbit hole, or let's walk further down this path and look at the benefits of doing so. So a standard keto lifestyle would typically be devoid of grains, legumes, pulses, vegetables, seed oils, root vegetables, artificial sweeteners, and soy. And the two biggest contributing factors there are the grains and the vegetable oils. Grains are high in lectins, and seed oils are high in oxidized omega-6 called linoleic acid. And typically when we look at that image that we looked at earlier, now we're left with nuts and seeds. And this is typically, the range of foods that you can eat. Now, this is a massive range of foods. We've got chicken, steak, cheese, fish, your kale, your Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Now, if you were to reside at this part as a standard keto lifestyle, you're going to see even further improvements. But what a massive range of food that you can eat. So this isn't a restrictive lifestyle. This is just plain and simply eating real food. And along with this lifestyle, you can consume lots of keto-friendly and ketogenic foods and snacks as well along your journey. But with this, you're going to see a further improvement in insulin sensitivity. You're going to see a further reduction in inflammation. Blood pressure is going to continue to improve, further reduction in body fat. And now you're going to improve oxidative damage. You're going to improve oxidative stress. Now, oxidative stress leads to things like cancers and tumors. It leads to aging. When our cells become oxidized, they become damaged and they don't perform the way they should. So gravitating into a standard keto lifestyle, we're going to see a lot more benefit. Now, strict keto. Now, strict keto, we would see the removal of lectins in total, because other foods other than grains contain lectins, and oxalates. So when we look at this image from a standard keto lifestyle and we go into a strict keto lifestyle, it looks like this. So now we've removed a lot of the greenery on there. We've removed the asparagus, the kale. We've removed the bell peppers, which are high in lectins, the tomatoes, which are high in lectins, and the berries, etc. So this is how it looks. And now we've seen a further improvement. So now we've improved intestinal permeability and we've improved joint pain. When we consume foods that contain lectins, and not just wheat germ gluten from grain or gluten, other plants contain lectins as well in the form of phytohemagglutinin. These lectins bind to the enterocytes lining the gut. They cause the release of a molecule called zonulin, and zonulin release causes a gap in the tight junction between the epithelial cells lining the gut, which we don't want. Our epithelial cells are 1 cell thick. Their job is to protect our insides against external toxins. So they've got a massive job for something that's so small. So we don't want to be poking holes in the intestines, in the enterocytes lining the gut. Now, when these holes appear, undigested protein molecules travel into the bloodstream where they shouldn't be. So the body creates antibodies to fight them. And then through a process called molecular mimicry, the body starts attacking other proteins in the body that look the same. Now, this is autoimmune disease. If you consume lectins in your diet, you have intestinal permeability and you have some form of autoimmune issue, whether you know it or not. So this is what the reduction or removal of all lectins is going to do. We're going to see a massive improvement when we remove grains, because wheat germ gluten is probably the biggest contributing factor to intestinal permeability, but plants contain phytohemagglutinin, which is going to do the same. Now, when we've removed oxalates, so oxalates are found in things like spinach and turmeric. And coming back to a point I've made earlier, turmeric is not your friend. Turmeric is incredibly high in oxalates. Oxalates bind to calcium and form calcium oxalate buildup in joints. And this is the majority of what is regarded as arthritic pains. And they also contribute to kidney stones. So 75% of kidney stones is formed from the oxalates in the foods that we consume, that we believe are good for us. So removing these foods high in lectins, removing these oxalates, are going to see a massive improvement in intestinal permeability, improvement in inflammation and joint pain. And then this brings us down to being carnivore or more animal-based. Now, typically, a carnivore or more animal-based lifestyle would only consume meat, eggs, fish, cheese, and A2 milk. And typically, this is how it looks. It may be boring for some people. Now, I'm generally carnivore, or I am carnivore. I do not consume any form of milk because even A2 milk can still cause intestinal permeability. And I know that there are influencers out there who push things like honey and A2 milk, but these are not good for you. So if you were looking to maximize health and well-being, gravitate into an animal-based lifestyle. But even with the A2 milk, it's going to be a lot more benefit than living a strict keto lifestyle. And then, as I say, there's different subsections in regards to carnivore, removing the A2 milk and even other forms of dairy and possibly even eggs. And then it goes deeper than that into what's known as the lion diet, where we would consume only beef. This helps with a lot of clients that I've worked with who suffer with severe gastrointestinal issues or severe health issues. And the more strict that they gravitate into a carnivore lifestyle, the healthier and fitter that they become. And this is how it looks. So look, regardless of where you choose to sit along this scale, whether it's dirty keto, standard keto, clean keto, carnivore, you're going to see a massive benefit because the production of beta-hydroxybutyrate is going to improve the brain, the body, and the heart to no end. So if dirty keto is where you want to be, that is fine. Just understand that some of the foods that you were consuming may not be serving you, and you will see a much greater improvement in benefit should you decide to gravitate further down this path. So standard keto, clean keto, carnivore. So I hope that clears it up. Thanks for listening.